The park has a number of recreational courts, fields, a wading pool, and equipment, as well as a shelter, as well as restrooms. Also on your Fast Track to 7, a traffic alert you need to know starting today. Drivers should be preparing for delays as construction begins on the tri-level between I-29 and I-94. The Valley Today's Nishay Taylor joining us live this morning with details on what drivers can expect. Good morning, Nishay.
Good morning, Ashlyn. Yes, construction will be getting underway today. A new lane will be added to this tri-level and a portion of I-94. You can see it right here. You can see traffic is picking up right now. Now, the Department of Transportation says this zipper merge on the tri-level for those coming from I-29 south onto I-94 really has a traffic backup during rush hour. So they're looking to alleviate the traffic issues in the area. So drivers can expect, once this construction starts, they can expect several changes, including the portions of the right shoulder being closed off on the tri-level as well as I-94, but there are other changes you can also expect.
We'll be shifting traffic. Traffic will be moving in a way that people aren't used to, so I highly recommend following the work zone traffic control signs, eliminating distractions. There's going to be workers going in and out of the work zone, so be mindful of that. Slow down and pay attention.
Yeah, the project is expected to wrap up in October, but once it's all finished, there will be 4 lanes right on I-94 up towards that 25th Street exit, which is the exit right after you get off of this tri-level ramp. So folks will have a lot to look forward to once the project is over. They'll have more ease to kind of merge into I-94 once that happens. So yes, like he said, be safe out there. Make sure you're paying attention to those traffic signs and those cones out there, because you want to make sure you're being safe in those construction zones. Reporting live in Fargo, Nishay Taylor, Valley News Live.
Yeah, we're always hopeful for increased safety. A major undertaking. Thank you for that live report this morning, Nishay. Some roads around the valley also taking a beating because of this extreme heat. University Avenue in Grand Forks is shut down because of a heat buckle. You see it there on our screen. The area impacted is between 42nd and 47th Streets, where there's a heave in the pavement on the I-29 overpass. Both lanes on South Washington are buckled in the 3200 block, but are still passable at this time. There's also a buckle on Belmont by Terrace Drive, but this one is also passable. Minnesota DOT crews were working on pavement buckles on westbound Highway 10 in Detroit Lakes. This was near Airport Road overnight. It impacted both lanes and traffic was moving on the shoulder through that area instead to get around it. Work started late last evening and was expected to take about 6 hours total. Time now for a look at our storm team forecast and what we can expect. Things heating up already, Lisa.
Good morning. Yeah, it's a warm morning. It's already going to feel sticky when you step outside, and some of us getting some rain right now. There are other places with a little bit of fog. This is our view in Devil's Lake, live view of that pretty sunrise happening. But I want you to look at the very bottom of the screen there. You see a little bit of haze going on, and that's an area where we do have some fog affecting us here. We'll take a look at that in a second. But let's take a look at our current reports. Right now, Fargo's at 67 degrees. Devil's Lake checking in at 65. Grand Forks 66. And Fergus Falls, our warm spot here, 72 degrees just to start off this morning. So again, a warm beginning to the day. Cavalier, our visibility there is down to a ½ mile. So seeing that fog affect us most in that area. Grand Forks is at 1.25 miles. Not too bad at Devil's Lake, but we do have a little moisture in the air at 3 miles for visibility. Meanwhile, into Minnesota, visibility reductions are more due to rain showers there. And the Southern Valley, similar setup. It's better looking in the Minnesota side, a little more foggy into the North Dakota side. Gwinner at 4 miles, Jamestown at 3. So looking at that chance for rain, you can see some areas experiencing a larger area of rain coming down, with a lot of places also enjoying sunshine. So it just depends on where you are and where these showers have developed. But around Bemidji, back up toward Red Lake area, and then west toward Bagley, going to be a showery or rainy drive, and then a little soaker down into northern parts of Hubbard County as well. So again, some areas of rain affecting us to start, but for the most part, much of the daytime hours today are going to be in that range of conditions that will be more on the drier side, or I should say warmer side and eventually beginning to get into that stormier side later in the day. So today, if you're thinking about heading out to the pool now that Fargo pools are open, we've got some good weather for that. Temperatures are going to be toasty, some 80s to even some low 90s possible today, but we'll need to watch out for that afternoon thunderstorm chance. Make sure you're checking your Valley News Live weather app for the latest as you're out at the pool. And taking a look at your forecast for the next several days, expect some 80s to some 90s again here in the forecast. Hot and steamy here with chances for rain and thunder each day. But the weekend brings about a little bit more of a change. We'll still be warm, low to mid 80s, but we'll kind of step back that temperature range. And also the chances for rain will become a little bit more spaced out instead of every single day like we're seeing this week.
Yeah, this week a lot to be mindful of as we ride out this heat wave. Wow. We want to remind you about coverage of North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum's announcement of his presidential campaign happening this week. He's set to enter the race on Wednesday morning at 11:30 from Sanctuary Event Center in downtown Fargo. We will carry the event live on KVLY and KXJB. Stick with Valley News Live on air and online all day on Wednesday for coverage of the major announcement. U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is traveling to Grand Forks today for a news conference about a new multi-million-dollar rail infrastructure grant from President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law. The grants are part of President Biden's Investing in America agenda. They say it aims to rebuild the nation's infrastructure, create a manufacturing and innovation boom, and build a clean energy economy. We have an update now to breaking news over the weekend in the Southern Valley involving a shelter-in-place order. 37-year-old Sean Lane is facing charges of attempted murder and discharging a firearm inside Wahpeton city limits. He's suspected of shooting a man in the chest in the 1300 block of 12th Street North. Soon after police arrived, they issued a shelter-in-place for a 6-block radius and evacuated a building. The lockdown was in place for around 5 hours, and many who live close to the area say it was a scary situation.
When I did get back to town, I was unable to get onto the street because they were still making sure everything was all clear before letting residents back down this street since my apartment was so close to it. So
we reached out to officials for more information on what exactly happened with the timeline, but have not yet heard back. We have a number of new road projects to tell you about on your Monday morning that could be impacting your drive. Starting today, watch for lane closures or detours on Highway 34 in Detroit Lakes and Osage. Minnesota DOT says if your destination does not fall within the project limits, you must instead use the detour or find an alternate route. It could add up to an extra 20 miles to your drive. Also today, drivers should watch for road closures on Highway 75 south of Doran, Minnesota. That's where crews are replacing the bridge over Rabbit River. Detours will be in place through September. And in Fargo, starting on our Monday morning, 18th Street North is shutting down between 12th Avenue and Centennial Boulevard for underground utility work. The road closure is expected to be in place for up to 4 weeks, again beginning today. And crews are taking down the old Argusville School starting tomorrow. Engineers will be in place to oversee the removal of any materials containing asbestos. The demolition is expected to be complete by July 4th. Well, your dog always seems cute as it runs towards you, but that's not how postal carriers see it. As National Dog Bite Awareness Week kicks off, the U.S. Postal Service is asking you to keep your pets on a leash, behind a fence, inside your home, and away from the door. The agency says that they train their carriers not to startle your dogs and to avoid interacting with them to prevent getting bit, but it still happens a lot. The latest tally shows mail carriers in California and Texas have the highest number of dog bites in the U.S. USPS says nationwide, more than 5,300 employees were attacked by dogs last year. And we're going to end on this note. The U.S. Mint is expected to ship out its latest coin in the American Women Quarter Series today. It features former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt and her legacy not only at the White House with her husband, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, but also her role as the first chairperson of the then United Nations Commission on Human Rights. It was later replaced by the UN Human Rights Council. The Today Show and CBS Mornings are just about to start, but the Valley Today rolls on with more live up-to-the-minute news and weather coming up right now on the Fargo CW. Happy Monday, everybody. We'll see you here next time.